Let me tell you something real. 2026 is not waiting on you. Time does not care about your fear. Opportunity does not pause for your comfort. Success does not negotiate with excuses. Either you build the year or the year builds you. And most people don't lose because they lack talent. They lose because they never designed their life with intention. You don't stumble into greatness. You architect it, you draw the blueprint. You lay the foundation, you show up every single day and execute, even when nobody is watching. This is not about motivation. This is about construction. You are the architect. Your habits are the materials. Your discipline is the cement. And execution is the labor. Before goals, before plans, before strategies, you must decide who you are. Because your identity controls your behavior. If you see yourself as average, you will produce average. If you see yourself as unstoppable, you will act unstoppable. Stop asking what you should do in 2026. Start asking who you must become. Champions don't wait for confidence. They move first and confidence follows. Winners don't wait for clarity. They step forward and clarity shows up later. Decide today, I'm disciplined, I am consistent, I finish what I start. I execute even when it hurts. Once that decision is made, your actions will line up. Identity first, results second. Let me be honest with you, comfort is killing potential. We live in a world where people quit when things get uncomfortable, where discipline is optional, where excuses are socially acceptable, but greatness lives on the other side of suffering. You don't grow in comfort, you grow in resistance. If your life feels hard right now, that means you're being shaped. Stop running from pressure. Pressure builds diamonds. Stop avoiding struggle. Struggle builds warrior. 2026 doesn't need a softer you. It needs a stronger you. Goals are nice, but systems change lives. Success. But do you have a morning routine? Do you have daily execution blocks? Do you track your progress? Do you protect your energy? Dreams without systems become frustration. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your habits. Your blueprint must include wake-up discipline, learning discipline, work discipline, discipline, and digital discipline. Success is not emotional. It is mechanical. Do the work, repeat, refine. That's the system. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll feel powerful. Some days you'll feel empty. Execution doesn't care. Real growth happens on the days you don't feel like it. That's when character is built. If you only work when inspired, you'll live an average life. Your elite performers show up tired. They show up confused. They show up discouraged. They show up anyway. Execution is a muscle. Train it daily. Your weakness will try to bargain with you. It will say just today. Start tomorrow. You deserve a break. That voice is not your friend. Every time you listen, you delay your destiny. You don't negotiate with weakness, you dominate it. Tell your excuses. Not today, not this year, not anymore. 2026 is a declaration of war on mediocrity. Stop chasing validation. Likes don't build legacy. Views don't create mastery. Applause fades. Skill stays. While others chase attention, you chase improvement. Read when nobody sees you. Practice when nobody claps. Build when nobody believes. Validation is temporary. Growth is permanent. Become undeniable. Protect your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Who you listen to matters. Who you watch matters. Where you spend your time matters. If you stay around quitters, you'll normalize quitting. If you stay around builders, you'll start building. Audit your circle. Upgrade your inputs. Starve distraction. Feed discipline. Your future is listening to what you're consuming today. Most people start excited. Very few finish committed. 2026 is not about January energy. It's about December dominance. It's about staying consistent when progress is slow. It's about finishing when others fade. You don't need perfect condition. You need relentless execution. Brick by brick, day by day, rip by rip. That's how legacies are built. Listen to me. You are not behind. You are being prepared. Everything you've survived was training. Every setback was a setup. Every delay was development. Now it's time to architect your future. No more waiting. No more wishing. No more half effort. 2026 is your construction site. Show up with discipline. Work with purpose. Execute with obsession. And when the year ends, don't just say you survived it. Say you built something. Say you became someone. Say you executed, because unstoppable isn't a feeling. It's a decision. Before anything else happens in your life, before the goals, before the plans, before the strategies, before the calendars and vision boards and productivity apps, there is one decision that must be made. And that decision is not about what you want. It is about who you are. Because identity always comes before achievement. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your self-image. The way you see yourself in private becomes the way you show up in public. And that's why so many people stay stuck year after year, not because opportunity is missing, but because identity is unclear. Let me tell you something real. Most people wake up every day already defeated, not because life is hard, but because they never decided who they were going to be. They let circumstances decide. They let other people's opinions decide. They let their past mistakes decide. They let fear decide. They let comfort decide. And when you don't decide who you are, the world will do it for you, and the world does not care about your potential. You cannot build an unstoppable year on an unstable identity. You cannot execute at a high level when you don't know what you stand for. You cannot demand excellence from your behavior when you've accepted mediocrity in your mindset. That's why the first blueprint of 26 is not productivity. It is identity. You've got to sit down with yourself and have an uncomfortable conversation. You've got to look in the mirror and ask, who am I becoming? Not who do I want to be one day, not who do I pretend to be on social media, not who do people think I am, but who will know when nobody is watching, because that person controls everything. Your identity determines your habits determine your results. If you see yourself as average, you will make average decisions. You will wake up late. You will quit early. You will settle often. You will explain instead of execute. But if you see yourself as disciplined, your alarm clock doesn't get snoozed. If you see yourself as consistent, you don't disappear when things get hard. If you see yourself as a finisher, you don't abandon projects halfway. If you see yourself as unstoppable, obstacles become assignments instead of excuses. This is not motivation. This is mechanics. Champions don't feel different, they decide different. Winners don't wait for confidence. They move first, and confidence catches up. They don't wait for clarity. They step forward, and clarity shows up later. They don't wait for perfect timing. They create timing through action. And what separates them from everybody else is not talent. It is identity. At some point, you have to stop hoping your life would change and start declaring that you will change. You have to stop saying, I'll try, and start saying, I'll try, and start saying, I am. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am resilient. I finish what I start. I do the work even when it hurts. Those are not affirmations. Those are commands to your nervous system. Your brain listens to your mouth. Every time you say, I'm tired, your body obeys. Every time you say, I can't, your mind shuts down. Every time you say it's hard, your energy drops. But when you say, I am built for these, something shifts. When you say, I don't quit, your posture changes. When you say, I execute, your behavior aligns. You don't wait to feel strong. You speak strength into existence. Let me be honest with you. The biggest enemy of your future is not failure. It's familiarity. It's being comfortable with who you are right now. It's accepting the same routines, the same excuses, the same patterns. Most people don't fail dramatically. They fade slowly. They drift. They delay. They downgrade their standards little by little until one day they look up and realize 5 years passed and nothing changed. That doesn't happen because they are lazy. It happens because they never upgraded their identity. You cannot live a next level life with a last level mindset. You cannot build a powerful future with an outdated self-image. You have to become somebody new. You have to become somebody new. And becoming somebody new requires letting go of who you used to be. That means letting go of old habits, letting go of old friends who don't support growth, letting go of old stories you tell yourself, letting go of victim thinking, letting go of comfort. This is where most people quit, because change feels like loss before it feels like gain. But understand this, every upgrade costs something. You want discipline? It costs comfort. You want consistency? It costs convenience. You want greatness? It costs excuses. And most people are not willing to pay. They want success on discount. They want transformation without discomfort. They want results without repetition. But life doesn't work like that. If you want an unstoppable 2026, you must first become an unstoppable person. And that starts with ownership. No more blaming your past. No more pointing fingers. No more waiting for support. No more waiting for permission. You own your mornings. You own your mindset. You own your effort. You own your response. You may not control what happened to you, but you absolutely control what you do next. That's power. That's identity. And once you accept that, everything changes. You stop asking who's coming to save you. You realize you are the rescue. You stop waiting for motivation. You become the motivation. You stop hoping for opportunity. You start creating it. But let me warn you, this path is lonely. When you change, people get uncomfortable. When you grow, people start questioning. When you elevate, people start criticizing. Not because you're wrong, because your growth exposes their stagnation. And that's okay. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. You need to understand you don't need applause to execute. You need commitment. There will be mornings when you wake up and doubt yourself. There will be days when progress feels invisible. There will be moments when quitting feels easier. That's when identity matters most. Because on those days, you don't rely on feelings. You rely on decisions. You don't ask, do I feel like working? You say, I'm the type of person who works. You don't ask, am I motivated? You say, I am disciplined. You don't ask, is it worth it? You say, I finished what I start. That's how elite performers think. They don't debate with their lower self. They command their higher self. And let me tell you something else. Your past does not define your ceiling. Your mistakes do not cancel your potential. Your setbacks do not disqualify your future. They trained you, they taught you, they toughened you. Everything you've been through was preparation. But preparation without execution is wasted pain. So now it's time to use what you've learned. Use the discipline, use the lessons, use the hunger, use the fire. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. They don't exist. Stop waiting to feel ready. You won't. Readiness comes from action. Courage comes from movement. Confidence comes from repetition. You build belief by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you wake up early, you gain respect for yourself. Every time you finish a task, you build trust with yourself. Every time you push through resistance, you strengthen your identity. And slowly, quietly, powerfully, you become someone different. People will notice. They'll say you changed. You were supposed to, because growth requires evolution. 2026 is not about doing more. It's about becoming more, becoming disciplined, becoming focused, becoming relentless, becoming consistent, becoming unstoppable. And that starts today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when circumstances improve. Now, decide who you are. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Live it daily. Because the world doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. And execution starts with identity. You are not here by accident. You have something to build. You have something to prove. You have a legacy to create. So stand up in your spirit. Square your shoulders. Take ownership of your future and say it with authority. I am disciplined. I am consistent. I am focused. I am resilient. I execute, I finish, I build, and 2026 will respond to the person you decide to become today. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear, but everybody needs to understand. Comfort is quietly destroying dreams, not loudly, not violently, slowly, silently. Comfort is the reason potential stays hidden. Comfort is the reason talent never turns into mastery. Comfort is the reason people talk more than they execute. And if you don't confront this now, 2026 will look exactly like 2025, just with new excuses. We live in a generation that celebrates convenience. Everything is instant. Entertainment is instant. Validation is instant. Validation is instant. And because everything is easy to access, people have become allergic to effort. The moment something gets hard, they start questioning the path. The moment discipline feels uncomfortable, they start negotiating. The moment progress feels slow, they start scrolling. But greatness does not live in comfort zones. Greatness lives in pressure zones. You don't grow where it's easy. You grow where it's uncomfortable. And right now, too many people are addicted to the soft life. They want success without sacrifice. They want strength without struggle. What strength without struggle? They want confidence without consistency. They want results without repetition. They want the reward without the responsibility. And life doesn't work like that. Let me be honest with you. If you run every time things get uncomfortable, you are training yourself to be weak. Every time you avoid pressure, you are teaching your nervous system that challenge is dangerous. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you are reinforcing mediocrity. You don't become strong by avoiding hard things. You become strong by doing hard things. Pain is not your enemy. Resistance is not your enemy. Difficulty is not your enemy. They are your teachers. Pressure creates struggle, creates stamina. Discomfort creates discipline. Look at anything powerful in nature. Diamonds are formed under extreme pressure. Muscles grow by tearing and repairing. Trees get stronger by resisting wind. Steel is forged in fire. Nothing becomes durable in comfort. So why do you expect your character to grow without resistance? Why do you think your mindset will become elite without struggle? Why do you believe your future will improve if you keep choosing easy? Let me say it plainly. Soft life produces a fragile mindset, and a fragile mindset cannot carry a heavy destiny. If you want an unstoppable 2026, you must be willing to become uncomfortable on purpose. That means waking up early when your bed feels warm. That means working when you're tired. That means studying when others are relaxing. That means saying no when your friends don't understand. That means staying focused when distractions are everywhere. That means showing up when motivation is gone. This is the price, and most people are not willing to pay it. They want to feel good more than they want to grow. They want comfort more than they want character. They want ease more than they want excellence. But listen to me. Comfort today is struggle tomorrow. Discipline today is freedom tomorrow. Every shortcut you take now will cost you later. Every excuse you make now will haunt you later. Every hard decision you avoid now becomes a harder life later. You don't escape discomfort. You choose when to face it. Either you suffer the pain of discipline or you suffer the pain of regret. And regret is heavier. Regret lasts longer. Regret keeps you up at night. Discipline hurts for a moment. Regret hurts for a lifetime. Let me tell you something else. The reason struggle feels so intense at first is because you're not used to it. But just like muscles adapt to weight, your mind adapts to pressure. What feels impossible today becomes normal tomorrow if you stay consistent. The first early morning feels brutal. The first hard workout feels unbearable. The first focused work session feels exhausting. But after repetition, your capacity increases. Your tolerance rises. Your identity shifts. And one day you realize what used to break you now barely shakes you. That's growth. But it only happens if you stay in it. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. They stop right before strength arrives. They give up right before momentum builds. Not because they can't do it, because they won't sit in discomfort long enough. Let me be clear. The goal is not to suffer aimlessly, and the goal is to suffer with purpose. There's a difference between destructive pain and productive pain. Productive pain builds you, it stretches you, it teaches you, it upgrades you. That's the pain of learning, the pain of discipline, the pain of showing up. Destructive pain is staying stuck. Productive pain moves you forward. So when life gets hard, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Ask, who am I becoming? Ask, how can I use this? Because every challenge carries a lesson. Every obstacle carries an upgrade. Every setback carries strength, but only if you don't quit. Let me talk to you about the voice inside your head. That voice that says, take it easy. That voice that says you deserve a break. That voice that says, just today. That voice that says, start tomorrow. That voice is not protecting you. That voice is sabotaging you. It sounds gentle, it sounds reasonable. It sounds caring, but it is the voice of stagnation every time you listen to it. Every time you obey it, you reinforce procrastination. Every time you follow it, you delay your destiny. You have to learn how to tell that voice no. You have to learn how to override comfort. You have to learn how to move, even when you don't feel like it. That's what separates builders from dreamers. Dreamers wait for the move. Builders follow the mission. Dreamers need motivation. Builders rely on structure. Dreamers talk. Builders execute. Let me tell you something about elite performers. They don't have special emotions. They don't wake up excited every day. They don't always feel confident. They don't always feel ready. They simply have standards. They have non-negotiables. They show up because that's who they are. They train when it hurts. They focus when it's boring. They work when it's inconvenient, not because they enjoy it, because they understand the assignment, and that's what 2026 requires. Understanding the assignment is scroll. The assignment is discipline. The assignment is discipline. The assignment is becoming stronger than your excuses. Stop asking for an easier life. Start building a stronger self. Stop praying for less problems. Start praying for more capacity. Stop wishing for comfort. Start developing courage. Because comfort weakens. Courage transforms. Let me tell you something else. Your future self is watching you right now. That version of you who has achieved something meaningful, who has built something real, who has grown mentally and emotionally, that person exists. But they are dependent on the decisions you make today. Every time you choose comfort, you further away from them. Every time you choose discipline, you move closer. Your future self is begging you not to quit. Your future self is begging you to keep going. Your future self is begging you to stay uncomfortable because they know what's on the other side. They know that the struggle you're in right now is temporary. They know that the work you're doing now is building something permanent. But you have to trust the process. You have to stay in the fire. You have to let the pressure shape you. You don't become unstoppable by avoiding hardships. You become unstoppable by surviving it. You don't become resilient by living easy. You become resilient by overcoming. You don't become powerful by staying safe. You become powerful by facing fear. 2026 is not calling for a softer version of you. It's calling for a tougher one, a disciplined one, a focused one, a resilient one who understands that growth hurts, one who accepts that excellence is uncomfortable, one who knows that every level has a price and you must be willing to pay it. Let me end this by saying this. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards pressure-tested performance. It rewards consistency. It rewards discipline. It rewards execution. So embrace the discomfort. Lean into the struggle. Run toward the challenge. Because everything you want is on the other side of hard. And when you finally arrive, when you finally look back, when you finally realize how far you've come, you won't regret the early mornings. You won't regret the sacrifices. You won't regret the discipline. You will only regret the days you almost quit. So don't quit. Get stronger. Stay uncomfortable. And build the version of yourself that 2026 demands. Let me tell you something that separates people who talk about success from people who actually experience it. Winners don't live on motivation. Winners live on systems. Everybody loves to set goals. Everybody loves to write down big dreams. Everybody loves to say they want more. But very few people build the daily structure required to support that future. Goals are emotional. Systems are mechanical. Goals make you feel excited. Systems make you show up. And that's why so many people start strong and fade fast. They had a goal, but they didn't have a process. They had a vision, but they didn't have a routine. They had intention, but they didn't have execution. Dreams without systems become frustration. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your habits. Let that sink in. If your habits are weak, your results will be weak, no matter how big your dreams are. If your habits are inconsistent, your progress will be inconsistent. If your habits are random, your future will be random. You cannot freestyle your way to excellence. You must build structure. Let me explain it like this. Everybody wants a beautiful building. Nobody wants to lay bricks. Everybody wants the finished product. Nobody wants the boring daily work. But there's no skyscraper without a foundation. There is no masterpiece without repetition. There is no breakthrough without boring consistency. Systems are what you do when nobody is watching. Systems are how you move when you don't feel inspired. Systems are the invisible architecture of success. And if you don't design your day, your days will design. Most people wake up and react to life. They check their phone. They respond to messages. They scroll. They drift. They let external noise dictate internal focus. They move through the day without intention. Then at night, they wonder why nothing changed. That's not bad luck, that's bad structure. If you want an unstoppable 2026, you must stop living randomly. You must start living deliberately. That means building a morning routine that programs your mind for discipline. That means setting time blocks for deep work. That means scheduling learning. That means protecting rest. That means limiting distractions. That means tracking progress. Let me say this clearly. Success is scheduled. If it's not on your calendar, it's not real. If it's not tracked, it's not improved. If it's not repeated, it's not mastered. You don't need more motivation, you need better systems. Motivation fades, structure stays. Motivation is a feeling. Systems are a commitment. Elite performers don't ask themselves every day whether they feel like working. They already decided. They removed the debate. They made execution automatic. That's what systems do. They eliminate decision fatigue. They remove emotion from discipline. They turn effort into routine. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't negotiate with yourself about it. You don't wait until you feel inspired. You just do it. Why? Because it's a system. That's how your work ethic should be. That's how your learning should be. That's how your growth should be. Automatic, non-negotiable, built in. But most people live reactive lives. They wait for urgency. They wait for deadlines. They wait for pressure. They wait until things fall apart. Then they try to change. But champions operate proactively. They prepare before problems appear. They train before tests arrive. They build before they are forced to. That's systems thinking. Let me talk to you about consistency. People misunderstand consistency. Think it means doing something perfectly every day. No, consistency means showing up even when the effort feels small. It means doing something even when progress feels invisible. It means staying in a routine even when results are delayed. Consistency compounds. Tiny actions repeated daily create massive outcomes. 1 hour of focused work per day becomes 365 hours per year. 10 pages of reading per day becomes over 3,600 pages per year. 20 minutes of movement per day becomes over 120 hours of exercise per year. That's not talent. That's math, but you only benefit from compounding if you stay in the system. Most people quit too early. They don't see results in 2 weeks and they stop. They don't feel progress in a month and they change direction. They expect instant feedback from long-term investment. Systems don't work that way. They require patience. They require trust. They require faith in the process. Let me say something uncomfortable. The reason many people fail is not because the system doesn't work. It's because they don't stay long enough to see it work. They bounce, they switch, they restart, they look for shortcuts. But mastery comes from staying. Excellence comes from repetition. Greatness comes from boring consistency. You have to be willing to do ordinary things for an extraordinary amount of time. That's the price. Let me talk about discipline. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Discipline is honoring commitments to yourself even when nobody else is watching. Systems protect discipline. They remove temptation. They create boundaries. They simplify decision. If you wait until you feel disciplined, you'll stay stuck. Build systems that force discipline. Put your phone away during work hours. Lay out your clothes the night before. Plan your meals. Set alarms. Use timers. Create rules. Structure beats willpower every time. Willpower is limited. Systems are reliable. And here's something else. You must build systems for rest too. Hustle culture taught people to grind nonstop. That's not sustainable. Elite performance requires recovery. Your system should include sleep. Your system should include reflection. Your system should include downtime. Burnout is not a badge of honor. Balance is a strategy. You can't execute at a high level if you're mentally exhausted. So build rhythms, work hard, rest well, repeat. That's how longevity is created. Let me tell you something powerful. Your environment is part of your system. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the spaces you work in, they all influence your behavior. Surround yourself with builders. Feed your mind with growth. Starve your attention from negativity. You don't become successful by accident. You become successful by design. And design requires intention. Most people want a breakthrough. What they really need is a schedule. Most people want transformation. What they really need is a routine. Most people want change. What they really need is consistency. Let me bring this home. Goals are destinations, systems are vehicles. You can know exactly where you want to go, but if you don't have a car, you're not getting there. And motivation is not a car. Excitement is not a car. Vision boards are not a car. Systems are the vehicle. Daily habits are the engine. Discipline is the fuel. Execution is the movement. That's how progress happens. And here's the truth. Systems don't have to be complicated. They just have to be consistent. Simple routines, repeated daily, will outperform complex plans executed occasionally. Wake up, move your body, feed your mind, do focused work, rest, repeat. That's the system. Track your progress. Adjust when needed. Stay committed. That's a system. You don't need perfection. You need persistence. Let me say this one last time. Your future is not built by big moments. It is built by small actions repeated every day. Your legacy will not be defined by what you plan. It will be defined by what you practiced. So stop romanticizing goals. Start respecting system. Stop chasing motivation. Start building structure. Stop waiting for inspiration. Start executing routines. Because when the excitement fades, systems remain. When emotions drop, habits carry you. When life gets hard, structure saves you. And if you build strong systems now, 2026 will not overwhelm you. You will overwhelm 2026. Not because you're special, but because you're structured. And structure creates unstoppable execution. Let me tell you something that most people don't want to accept. Motivation is a liar. Motivation shows up when things feel good. Motivation disappears when things get heavy. Motivation is emotional. Motivation is temporary, and if your success depends on motivation, your success will always be inconsistent. Real progress does not come from how you feel. It comes from what you do. Some days you will wake up energized. Some days you will wake up empty. Some days you will feel confident. Some days you will feel uncertain. Some days you will feel powerful. Some days you will feel broken. But execution does not care about your mood. Execution doesn't care about your emotions. Execution doesn't care about your excuses. Execution only responds to action. That's why elite performers don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They rely on systems. They rely on identity. They rely on commitment. They show up even when they don't feel like it. They work even when they're tired. They push even when they're discouraged. They execute even when their mind is telling them to quit. And that's where greatness is built. Most people are waiting to feel ready. Most people are waiting to feel ready. Most people are waiting to feel inspired. Most people are waiting to feel confident. But readiness is created by movement. Inspiration is created by action. Confidence is created by repetition. You don't feel your way into discipline. You discipline your way into feeling. Let me say that again. You don't feel your way into discipline. You discipline your way into feeling. That means you move first. You act first. You execute first. And the energy catches up. Let me be honest with you. There will be days when motivation is completely dead. Not low, dead. When your body feels heavy. Days when your mind feels foggy. Days when progress feels invisible. Days when everything in you wants to stay comfortable. Those days are not accident. Those days are tests. Life is checking your commitment. Life is asking, are you serious or are you seasonal? Are you consistent or are you emotional? Are you disciplined or are you dependent on vibes? Because anybody can work when they feel good. Anybody can show up when things are exciting. Anybody can grind when results are immediate. But champions are built on the days when nothing feels right and they show up anyway. Those are the days that separate. Those are the days that count. Let me talk to you about mental toughness. Mental toughness is not being aggressive. Mental toughness is not pretending everything is fine. Mental toughness is doing what needs to be done when you don't feel like doing it. It's answering the alarm when your bed feels warm. It's opening a book when your phone feels more interesting. It's starting a task when procrastination feels easier. It's staying focused when distractions are loud. Mental toughness is obedience to your future self. Your future self is counting on the work you do today. Your future self is depending on the discipline you show now. Your future self is praying you don't quit. But most people betray their future for temporary comfort. They trade long-term growth for short-term pleasure. They sacrifice tomorrow for today. They exchange destiny for ease. And they don't even realize they're doing it. They call it rest. They call it balance. They call it balance. They call it self-care. But deep down, they know they're avoiding. True self-care is doing hard things. True self-respect is keeping promises to yourself. True confidence comes from execution. Let me tell you something powerful. Every time you execute when you don't feel like it, you build trust with yourself. Every time you push through resistance, you strengthen your identity. Every time you finish a task when quitting feels easier, you upgrade your character. And character compounds. You don't become unstoppable overnight. You become unstoppable one hard day at a time. One uncomfortable decision at a time. One disciplined action at a time. That's how it works. Let me talk about resistance. Resistance shows up right before growth. Resistance is the feeling that makes you want to stop. Resistance is the heaviness in your chest. Resistance is the voice in your head saying later. Resistance is not a signal to quit. Resistance is a signal that you're on the right path because your old self is fighting for survival. Your comfort zone is being threatened. Your habits are being challenged. So of course it feels uncomfortable. But understand this, if it feels uncomfortable, it means you're changing. And change is always uncomfortable before it's empowering. Most people misinterpret resistance as danger. Elite performers interpret resistance as direction. They lean into it. They move through it. They don't run. They don't negotiate. They execute. Let me tell you something else. Motivation comes and goes, but momentum is built through action. And once momentum starts, it carries you. But momentum only comes after movement. You can't wait for momentum. You create it. You take the first step, then the second, then the third. And slowly your energy rises, your focus sharpens, your confidence grows. But it all starts with doing something, not thinking, not planning, not wishing. Doing, let me be clear, planning is important, strategy matters, vision is necessary, but none of that matters if you don't execute. Execution is the bridge between intention and reality. You can have the best plan in the world and still fail if you don't move. You can have the biggest dream and still stay broke if you don't act. Execution is everything. And execution doesn't wait for perfect condition. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a perfect move. There will never be a perfect situation. You move with what you have. You start where you are. You build as you go. That's how progress happens. Let me talk to you about consistency. Consistency is not doing something once. It's doing it again and again, especially when nobody is watching, especially when results are slow, especially when motivation is gone. Consistency is boring. Consistency is repetitive. Consistency is unglamorous, but consistency is powerful because consistency compounds. Tiny actions repeated daily create massive change. And those tiny actions only happen when you stop waiting to feel like it. You do it because it's who you are. Let me bring this home. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they stop showing up. They stop showing up when it gets hard. They stop showing up when they don't feel appreciated. They stop showing up when progress feels slow. They confuse feelings with facts. Just because you feel tired doesn't mean you are finished. Just because you feel discouraged doesn't mean you are defeated. Just because you feel stuck doesn't mean you are stagnant. Feelings lie. Execution tells the truth. You don't need to feel strong. You need to act strong. You don't need to feel motivated. You need to move anyway. You don't need perfect energy. You need disciplined action. And here's the beautiful part. The more you execute without motivation, the stronger you become. The stronger you become, the less you depend on feelings. The less you depend on feeling, the more consistent you get. Inconsistency creates unstoppable momentum. Let me say this directly to you. There will be mornings when you don't want to get up. There will be nights when you don't want to keep going. There will be seasons when you question everything. That's normal. What's not normal is quitting. What's not normal is letting temporary emotions control permanent decision. What's not normal is letting comfort steal your future. You are built for hard things. You are capable more than you feel. You are stronger than your excuses. But you will never discover that if you only move when motivated. So make this commitment to yourself. No matter how I feel, I execute. No matter how tired I am, I show up. No matter how slow progress feels, I stay consistent. No matter how uncomfortable it gets, I keep moving. Because greatness is built in the absence of motivation. That's where discipline lives. That's where character grows. That's where legends are made. And when 2026 looks back at you, it won't remember your feeling. It will remember your actions. So act, execute, even when motivation is gone. Let me tell you something that will change the way you look at your struggles. Your weakness has a voice. It talks to you every day. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't sound dangerous. It sounds reasonable. It says things like, just today, start tomorrow, you deserve a break. You've done enough. Nobody will notice. And if you don't learn how to recognize that voice, it will quietly run your life. That voice is not your friend. That voice is not protecting you. That voice is negotiating your future away one excuse at a time. Every great downfall doesn't start with a big failure. It starts with small compromises. One missed workout, one delayed tag, one extra hour of scrolling, one more excuse. And over time, those time come not in your favor against you. People don't wake up one day and suddenly become undisciplined. They train themselves into it by repeatedly choosing comfort over commitment. Your weakness is patient. It doesn't rush. It waits for moments when you're tired. It waits for moments when you're stressed. It waits for moments when you feel overwhelmed. And then it speaks. And if you listen long enough, it becomes your normal. But let me tell you something powerful. You don't negotiate with weakness. You dominate it. You don't debate with your lower self. You command your higher self. Because every time you negotiate, you lose authority. Every time you compromise, you weaken your discipline. Every time you delay, you strengthen procrastination. Weakness does not respond to kindness. Weakness responds to control. Let me be real with you. There are two versions of you fighting every single day. The version that wants comfort, ease, and instant pleasure. And the version that wants growth, excellence, and long-term success. Those two versions cannot both win. One must dominate, and whichever one you feed will grow. If you feed excuses get stronger. If you feed discipline gets stronger. If you feed fear expands. If you feed courage, takes over. Your life today is the result of what you've been feeding, and if you don't like where you are, you don't need a miracle. You need to change your diet. Stop feeding weakness. Let me tell you something else. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because they don't do what they know. Knowledge is not power. Execution is power. And execution requires you to stop having conversations with your comfort zone. You already know you should wake up earlier. You already know you should eat better. You already know you should work harder. You already know you should stop wasting time. You don't need more information. You need more obedience. Obedience to your goals. Obedience to your discipline. Obedience to your future self. Let me talk to you about excuses. Excuses are lies we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. Excuses sound intelligent. They come with reasons. They come with stories. But excuses always lead to the same destination. Stagnation. People say I don't have time. You have time. You just prioritize other things. People say I'm tired. You're tired because you don't manage your energy. People say I'll start when things calm down. Things never calm down. People say I'm waiting for motivation. Motivation is waiting for action. Excuses are sophisticated ways to quit without admitting it. And the moment you accept excuses, you hand control of your future to weakness. Let me say this clearly. Every excuse has a cost. That delayed project costs momentum. That ignored opportunity costs growth. That wasted hour costs progress. You don't see the damage immediately, but it compounds. Just like discipline compounds. Just like consistency compounds. Just like effort compounds. Everything compounds. The question is, what are you compounding? Let me talk about self-respect. Self-respect is not how you feel about yourself. Self-respect is how you treat your commitments. Self-respect is doing what you said you would do, especially when you don't feel like it. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you lower your confidence. Every time you keep a promise, you strengthen your identity. That's why discipline feels empowering. That's why execution builds confidence. Confidence is not built by thinking. It's built by doing. You don't wake up confident. You become confident by proving to yourself that you can be trusted. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. Your weakness will always try to justify itself. It will say you're overwhelmed. It will say you need rest. It will say you've been through a lot. And sometimes that's true. But weakness uses truth to manipulate you. Rest is necessary, but quitting is not. Breaks are healthy, but abandonment is not. Self-care matters, but avoidance does not. You must learn the difference. You must learn when to recover and when to push. Because if you let weakness decide, it will always choose easy. And easy does not build greatness. Let me tell you about discipline. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. Discipline frees you from regret. Discipline frees you from self-doubt. Discipline frees you from chaos. Discipline gives you control. People think discipline limits them. No, discipline expands you. It gives you options, it gives you confidence, it gives momentum, but discipline only works when it's non-negotiable. The moment discipline becomes optional, weakness takes over. That's why elite performers have rules. They don't debate, they don't rationalize. They have standards. They wake up at the same time. They train even when tired. They work even when bored. They focus even when distracted, not because they enjoy it, because they respect their future. Let me be honest with you. The reason many people stay stuck is because they keep negotiating with the same problems year after year. Same habits, same excuses, same cycles, same cycle. They keep telling themselves it's the last time, and then they repeat it. At some point, you have to draw a line. At some point, you have to say enough. Enough procrastination, enough comfort, enough excuses. Enough half effort. 2026 is not the year of negotiation. It's the year of domination. Domination over laziness. Domination over fear. Domination over distraction. Domination over weakness. Let me talk about personal responsibility. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to wake you up. Nobody is going to force you to work. Nobody is going to make you disciplined. That's on you. That's on you. You are the system. You are the accountability. You are the solution. Once you accept that, power returns to your hands. You stop waiting. You stop blaming. You stop blaming. And that's when things change. Let me say something deep. Your future is not built by what you intend to do. It is built by what you repeatedly do. Your habits are your resume. Your routines are your reputation. Your discipline is your destiny. You don't rise accidentally. You don't fall accidentally. You move in the direction of your dominant behavior. So if you want a different life, you must build different habits. And building new habits requires killing old excuses. That's war. That's internal warfare. That's choosing growth over comfort every day. And it's not glamorous, it's lonely. It's repetitive, it's uncomfortable, but it works. Let me finish with this. There will always be a reason not to do it. There will always be fatigue. There will always be distractions. There will always be doubt, but there will also always be opportunity. And opportunity only responds to action. So stop negotiating with your weakness. Stop listening to the voice that wants easy. Stop delaying your destiny. Stand up in your spirit. Take control of your mind. Command your habits and tell your excuses. Not today, not this year, not anymore, because you are building something bigger than comfort. You are building discipline. You are building character. You are building an unstoppable version of yourself. And weakness is not invited. Let me tell you something that most people never fully understand. The world has trained you to chase applause. It has trained you to crave likes, views, praise, recognition, attention. From a young age, we're taught to perform for approval. Get good grades so people clap. Dress a certain way so people notice. Post online so people validate you. And slowly, without realizing it, many people build their entire identity around being seen instead of being skilled. But here's the truth. Validation does not build legacy. Growth does. Applause feels good, but it doesn't make you better. Attention is loud, but it doesn't create mastery. Recognition is exciting, but it doesn't develop discipline. Only work does that. Only repetition does that. Only consistency does that. And if you don't learn how to shift your focus from being admired to being improved, you will live your life chasing reactions instead of results. Let me be honest with you. Likes don't build character. Views don't sharpen skills. Compliments don't create competence. You can have 1,000 people cheering and still be unprepared. You can have millions watching and still be average, because performance without practice eventually collapses. Most people want to look successful before they become successful. They want to be celebrated before they want the spotlight, before they put in the shadows work. But real builders don't care about being seen. They care about becoming solid. They care about mastering their craft. They care about improving 1% every day. They care about growth when nobody is watching, because they understand something powerful. The dark is where development happens. The silence is where skills are built. The lonely hours are where greatness is forged. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. If nobody is clapping for you right now, that might be a gift. If nobody is watching, that might be your advantage. If nobody believes yet, that might be your training ground. Because when there's no applause, you learn how to work without validation. When there's no audience, you learn how to stay consistent. When there's no recognition, you learn how to depend on discipline. And those lessons will carry you further than compliments ever could. You have to become obsessed with growth. Not casually interested, obsessed. Obsessed with learning. Obsessed with sharpening your skills. Obsessed with upgrading your mindset. Obsessed with becoming better than you were yesterday. Not for attention, not for praise, for excellence. Let me explain something. Growth is quiet. Growth is boring. Growth doesn't trend. Growth doesn't go viral. Growth doesn't announce itself. Growth happens in reading when nobody sees. Growth happens in practice when nobody claps. Growth happens in repetition when nobody cares. And most people don't like growth because it doesn't feed their ego. They want fast wins. They want public recognition. They want instant results. But mastery takes time, and time demands patience. Let me talk to you about ego wants to look good. Ego wants credit. Ego wants approval. Ego wants approval. Ego wants to feel important. Growth doesn't care about ego. Growth requires humility. Growth requires admitting you don't know everything. Growth requires being willing to look foolish while learning. That's why many people stop improving. Not because they can't, because they don't want to look like beginners again. They would rather stay average than be seen struggling. But elite performers understand something different. They are not afraid to be students. They are not afraid to fail. They are not afraid to practice in private. They are not afraid to look inexperienced while building expertise. They understand that embarrassment is temporary, but excellence lasts. Let me tell you something powerful. Every master was once invisible. Every expert was once confused. Every great performer was once terrible. They just stayed in the process longer than everyone else. They didn't chase validation. They chased improvement. They didn't ask, do they like me? They asked, am I getting better? They didn't ask, am I popular? They asked, am I progressing? And that mindset changes everything. Because when your focus is growth, criticism doesn't break you. Feedback doesn't offend you. Challenges don't scare you. You see everything as information. Everything becomes training. Let me be clear. Growth requires solitude. Growth requires focus. Growth requires saying no to distractions. While others are scrolling, you're studying. While others are partying, you're practicing. While others are seeking attention, you're seeking mastery. That's the separation. And it's not glamorous. It's lonely. It's repetitive. It's quiet. But it works. Let me talk about delayed gratification. Growth teaches you how to wait. Validation teaches you how to crave instant pleasure. For later, you invest now for later. Validation trains you to consume now and suffer later. When you choose growth, you accept that results take time. When you choose validation, you demand immediate reward. But life rewards patience. Life rewards consistency. Life rewards those who are willing to plant seeds without seeing harvest immediately. Most people quit too early because they don't see progress fast enough. They don't feel appreciated fast enough. They don't feel recognized fast enough. So they stop. But those who keep growing quietly eventually become undeniable. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. You don't need everyone to support your process. You don't need everyone to applaud your efforts. You need discipline. You need focus. You need consistency. If you spend your energy explaining yourself, you won't have energy to improve yourself. Stop trying to prove. Start trying to improve. Stop chasing opinions. Start building skill. Stop counting lights. Start counting reps, because reps build results. Let me talk about identity. When you become growth focused, your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants success. You start seeing yourself as someone who works for success. You stop seeing failure as embarrassment. You start seeing failure as feedback. That's maturity. That's evolution. That's how high-level performers think. They don't protect their ego. They protect their process. They don't avoid mistakes. They learn from them. They don't run from challenges. They use them. Let me say something that might hurt a little. If you need constant validation, you are not yet secure in your purpose. If you need constant praise, you are not yet confident in your process. If you need constant approval, you are not yet committed to your growth, and that's okay. But recognize it, then change it, because external validation is addictive. And like any addiction, it steals focus, drains energy, and delays progress. You must detox from applause. You must learn how to work in silence. You must become comfortable being unseen. Seasons produce visible results. Let me bring this home. Growth is a daily decision. Every day you choose whether you will consume or create, whether you will complain or improve, whether you will scroll or study, whether you will seek approval or seek excellence. Those daily choices define your future. You don't become great in one moment. You become great by stacking disciplined days. You don't master your craft overnight. You master it through years of focused practice. You don't build confidence by being praised. You build confidence by doing hard things repeatedly. So make this commitment. I will prioritize growth over validation. I will choose improvement over attention. I will chase mastery, not applause. I will work in silence. I will sharpen my skills. I will invest in myself. And when success comes, it will not be fragile because it will be built on substance. Let me end with this. The world is full of loud people with shallow skills. Be the quiet one with deep mastery. The world is full of flashy performers with weak foundations. Be the builder with strong roots. Obsession with growth will separate you. Discipline will sustain you. Consistency will elevate you. And when the recognition finally arrives, it won't define you because you already build yourself in the dark. Let me speak to the part of you that feels tired but still refuses to quit. Because this stage right here, this moment in your journey is not about hype anymore. It's about endurance. It's about staying locked in when nobody is cheering. It's about pushing forward when the results are delayed, when the progress feels invisible, and when your body is asking for rest, but your destiny is demanding discipline. Most people love starting. Very few people love finishing. Everybody wants to break through, but nobody wants the breakdown that comes before it. Everybody wants to glow up, but very few are willing to go through the grow up. Everybody wants the trophy, but not everyone wants the training. Let me tell you something. Consistency is heavier than talent. You can be gifted and still lose. You can be intelligent and still fall behind. You can be creative and still stay broke. But if you are consistent, if you show up daily, if you execute even when it hurts, even when it's boring, even when it feels pointless, eventually life has to respond to you. Consistency is undefeated. There is no shortcut around it. There is no hack for it. There is no replacement for it. And most people fail not because they aren't capable. They fail because they stop showing up. They stop when progress slows. They stop when motivation fades. They stop when life gets uncomfortable. But champions don't stop. Champions adjust. Let me talk to you about delayed gratification, because this is where most dreams die. We live in a microwave generation. Everybody wants fast money, fast success, fast results, fast respect. But greatness moves at crock-pot speed. Real transformation takes time. Real mastery takes years. Real elevation demands patience. You don't plant seeds today and harvest tomorrow. You water, you wait, you protect, you nurture. And sometimes it looks like nothing is happening. But underground, roots are growing. And if you quit too early, you kill the harvest. You gotta understand, silence does not mean stagnation. Slow does not mean stop. Just because you don't see results doesn't mean your work isn't working. Some seasons are invisible. Those seasons are not punishment. They were preparation. Stop comparing your chapter 2 to somebody else's chapter 20. Stop rushing your process. Your timeline is yours. Your journey is unique. Your calling does not operate on social media speed. Stay in your lane, build quietly, execute loudly. Here's another truth nobody tells you. Success will isolate you before it celebrates you. There will be days you feel alone. There will be nights when nobody checks on you. There will be moments when you question if it's worth it. That's part of the price. Greatness requires separation. While others are partying, you're practicing. While others are sleeping, you're studying. While others are scrolling, you're sharpening. Isolation is not rejection, it's selection. God removes distractions before he releases elevation. You don't lose people, you outgrow them, and that's okay. Everybody cannot go where you're going. Everybody cannot handle your discipline. Everybody cannot understand your obsession. Everybody cannot walk your road. Stop trying to carry people who don't want to climb. Focus on your assignment. Let me say this clearly. Your future is built on what you repeatedly do when nobody is watching. Not on what you post, not on what you promise, not on what you plan, on what you execute daily, relentlessly, quietly. Your habits are voting every single day for the person you are becoming. Every alarm you snooze is a vote for comfort. Every workout you skip is a vote for weakness. Every excuse you accept is a vote against your potential. But every early morning is a vote for discipline. Every hard conversation is a vote for growth. Every finished task is a vote for your destiny. You are casting ballots with your behavior. What are you voting for? Let me talk about fatigue, because fatigue will come. There will be days your body is drained. There will be weeks your mind feels overloaded. There will be seasons your spirit feels heavy. That doesn't mean stop. That means slow down if needed. But don't shut down. Rest is allowed. Quitting is not. Take breaks, not A's. Refuel, don't retreat. Real warriors don't abandon a mission when they get tired. They recover and re-engage. Some of you don't need more motivation. You need more recovery discipline. Sleep better, eat better, move your body, protect your mental health. You can't execute at a high level on empty. Strength is strategic. Energy is currency. Spend it wisely. Now listen to me carefully. Nobody is coming to save you. No perfect mentor. No magical opportunity. No viral moments. It's on you. Your healing is your responsibility. Your growth is your responsibility. Your future responsibility. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is now. You don't become unstoppable by accident. You become unstoppable by ownership. Take ownership of your mornings. Take ownership of your finances. Take ownership of your mindset. Take ownership of your circle. Take ownership of your craft. Excuses outsource power. Ownership takes it back. And here's the part that separates amateurs from professionals. Execution when it's boring. Anybody can grind when it's exciting. Anybody can hustle when it's new. Anybody can push when people are watching. But can you execute when it's repetitive? Can you execute when it's lonely? Can you execute when nobody cares? That's where legacies are built. The boring days are the building days. The quiet reps are the championship reps. Master the mundane. Fall in love with repetition. Respect the process. Stop chasing miracles. Build momentum. Small wins stack daily become massive transformation. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just do one hard thing today, then do it again tomorrow, then again the next day. That's how discipline compounds. That's how confidence grows. That's how unstoppable is born. Let me leave you with this. You've already survived things that were supposed to break you. You've already overcome obstacles that once felt impossible. You already carry proof inside you that you are resilient. Now it's time to evolve. Not emotionally, not verbally, behaviorally. Let 2026 see a different version of you. A version that finishes. A version that executes. A version that doesn't negotiate with weakness. A version that honors commitments. A version that stays consistent when it's uncomfortable. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't go to the smartest. It goes to the strongest executors. And strength isn't loud. Strength is quiet consistency. Build it, protect it, live it. And when people ask how you did it, don't tell them it was luck. Tell them it was discipline. Let me talk to the version of you that's still standing even after everything you've been through. Because if you're listening to this right now, that means you didn't quit. You didn't disappear. You didn't let the setback swallow you whole. You may have slowed down. You may have doubted yourself. You may have questioned your direction, but you're still here. And that matters. Most people don't fail because they aren't talented. They fail because they lose belief in themselves. They allow one bad season to rewrite their identity. They allow one rejection to convince them they're not enough. They allow one delay to make them think it's over. But listen to me carefully. Your story's not finished. What you survived was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to develop you. Every disappointment taught you something. Every delay strengthened you. Every obstacle trained you. You don't see it yet, but your scars are credentialed. You didn't go through all that pain just to stay the same. You went through it so you could become stronger, wiser, sharper, and more resilient. Let me tell you something real about growth. Growth is not glamorous. Nobody posts the nights they cry. Nobody shares the mornings they felt empty. Nobody celebrates the days they wanted to quit but didn't. They only show the wins. But behind every victory is 1,000 invisible battles. Behind every confident person is a long season of insecurity. Behind every disciplined individual is a history of chaos they had to overcome. So stop comparing your behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel. Your journey is valid. Your pace is valid. Your struggle is valid. Your struggle is valid. But don't let it become your excuse. Use it as your fuel. Let me say this with love. You don't need another motivational video. You need execution. You don't need another inspirational quote. You need structure. You don't need another vision board. You need daily action. Dreaming without discipline is just fantasy. Talking without movement is noise. You've spent enough time planning. Now it's time to produce. Your future doesn't respond to intentions. It responds to behavior. You can pray. You can pray. You can visualize. You can affirm. But if you don't move, nothing changes. Faith without works is dead. And success without execution is imaginary. Let me speak to the fear that keeps showing up. Fear of failing. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of starting over. Fear of not being enough. Fear is a liar. Fear exaggerates consequences and minimizes potential. Fear tells you you're behind. Fear tells you it's too late. Fear tells you you missed your chance. But fear is not prophecy. It's just resistance. And resistance always shows up right before growth. If you feel scared, good. That means you're at the edge of expansion. Do it anyway. Move anyway. Apply anyway. Post anyway. Train anyway. Build anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in spite of fear. Let me tell you something powerful. You don't become unstoppable when life gets easy. You become unstoppable when you stop letting life control you. When you decide that no matter what happens, you will adapt. When you commit to rising even after falling. When you refuse to let temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need an unbreakable mindset. You need to learn how to self-regulate. Some days you'll feel confident. Some days you'll feel defeated. Your job is to execute on both days because consistency beats emotion. Emotion changes. Discipline stays. Let me talk about responsibility because this is where power lives. Everything in your life right now is either something you allowed or something you tolerated. That might be hard to hear, but ownership gives you control. Blame keeps you stuck. Stop blaming your past. Stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming your age. You can't change where you started, but you can change where you're going. The moment you take responsibility, everything shifts. You stop waiting. You stop complaining. You start building. You start adjusting. You start executing. You become dangerous in the best way. Let me speak on discipline. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Discipline is waking up when your bed feels good. Discipline is training when your body feels heavy. Discipline is studying when your phone is calling. Discipline is saying no to distractions so you can say yes to destiny. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect. It's telling yourself, I matter enough to do hard things. Most people sabotage their future for temporary comfort. Don't be most people. Comfort delays greatness. Pain accelerates it. Choose growth. Let me tell you something about momentum. Momentum is built, not found. You don't wait until you feel ready. You start small. You show up. You stack wins. One page read. One workout done. One task finished. Tiny actions repeated daily change everything. Stop waiting for massive breakthroughs. Create daily breakthroughs. Progress compounds. So does procrastination. Choose wisely. Let me talk to the part of you that feels behind. You are not behind. You are being refined. Some people start early and move slow. Others start late and move fast. Stop measuring your life with somebody else's ruler. Your timing is divine. Your process is intentional. Your calling is personal. Just don't stop moving. Direction matters more than speed. Let me be clear. You will lose some people on this journey, not because you became arrogant, but because you became disciplined. Not because you changed, but because you grew. Some people only like you when you're small. When you start elevating, they get uncomfortable. Let them go. Everybody can't come with you. Some relationships are seasonal. Some friendships expire. That doesn't make you bad. It makes you evolving. Protect your peace. Protect your focus. Protect your future. Let me say this. The next version of you requires sacrifice. It requires boundaries. It requires consistency. It requires saying no to things that feel good now but cost you later. But that version of you also comes with confidence, clarity, stability, purpose, and pride. Not ego. Pride, the kind that comes from knowing you didn't quit. The kind that comes from knowing you kept your word to yourself. The kind that comes from becoming who you say you would be. So when 2026 shows up, don't just enter it. Attack it. With discipline, with structure, with focus, with hunger. Wake up every day with intention. Ask yourself, what must be done? Then do it. No drama, no excuses. Just execution. Because unstoppable is not loud. Unstoppable is quiet consistency. Unstoppable is showing up tired. Unstoppable is building when nobody sees. Unstoppable is staying committed when it's boring. Unstoppable is refusing to negotiate with weakness. Let this be your year of alignment, where your actions match your words, where your habits reflect your goals, where your discipline honors your dream. You didn't come this far to stop. You didn't survive what you survived to stay average. You didn't carry this fire just to let it fade. Now is the time. Stand up in your power and execute with precision. Live with purpose and become the architect of your unstoppable 2026. As we stand at the edge of this moment, I want you to recognize something vital. 2026 is not a year to drift. It's not a year to coast. It is not a year to let life happen to you. 2026 is a year to dominate, to design, to architect your destiny with deliberate, relentless execution. Everything you've heard today, every keynote we've explored, every principle, every lesson, every insight, it all comes down to one unshakable truth. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. You cannot wait for the perfect moment, the perfect move, the perfect alignment of stars. The perfect moment does not exist. The only thing that exists is the decision to act now, consistently, relentlessly, and without compromise. You may feel fear. You may feel doubt. You may feel tired. You may feel like giving up, like the weight of the world is pressing against your chest, suffocating your ambition, clouding your vision. But I promise you, those feelings are not your enemy. They're your indicators. They are proof that you are standing at the threshold of growth, that you are on the verge of becoming more than you were yesterday, that you are in the crucible of transformation. Every time you step forward despite fear, you train your mind to conquer obstacles. Every time you move when motivation is gone, you fortify your discipline. Every time you push when the world is telling you to quit, you redefine the limits of what is possible for yourself. Listen to me carefully. Greatness does not wait for convenience. It does not accommodate comfort. It does not negotiate with excuses. Excuses are the language of those who settle. Excuses are the chains that keep potential trapped in mediocrity. Every excuse you entertain today is a vote against your future. Every reason you give to delay action is a compromise with your dreams. And every time you choose to act, instead of postpone, you are casting a vote for the unstoppable version of yourself. The moment you embrace that, the moment you stop rationalizing and start executing, your life will change. Not tomorrow, not next week, today, right now. You must understand something profound. Discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. Discipline frees you from chaos. Discipline frees you from inconsistency. Discipline frees you from regret. Every time you honor your commitments to yourself, every time you choose structure over comfort, you are building a foundation so strong that nothing in life can shake you. Motivation is temporary. Inspiration fades. Excuses are seductive, but discipline is eternal. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Discipline is the engine that propels potential into reality. And yet I must be honest with you, discipline alone is not enough. Execution requires obsession. It requires focus. It requires an unrelenting commitment to growth, even when nobody is watching, even when results are delayed, even when the journey is grueling and the rewards seem distant. Growth is quiet. Growth is repetitive. Growth is unglamorous, but it compounds. Every skill you refine, Every habit you build, every action you take in alignment with your vision compound to create the unstoppable momentum that defines true success. Do not be deceived by the allure of instant recognition. Do not be fooled by applause or attention. What matters is mastery. What matters is excellence. What matters is showing up consistently when the world is indifferent. You may ask yourself, how do I sustain this level of intensity over 365 days? How do I maintain focus when the obstacles keep multiplying? How do I keep moving when my body screams for rest and my mind begs for retreat? The answer is simple, but it is not easy. You must become addicted to your own potential. You must fall in love with the process of becoming. You must obsess over the person you are creating, not the approval of others. When you make growth your obsession, discipline becomes effortless. When you make excellence your obsession, distraction loses its power. When you make execution your obsession, excuses evaporate. Your obsession is the engine. Your commitment is the fuel. Your consistency is the vehicle that drives you toward your destiny. And let me remind you of one more thing. Setbacks will come. Obstacles will appear. Failures will happen. Rejections will sting. Disappointments will test your resolve. That is life's way of weeding out the uncommitted. That is life's way of measuring who is willing to endure, who is willing to persist, who is willing to rise when everyone else falls. Every great achievement in history was preceded by a storm of resistance. Every monumental success was forged in the fire of struggle. And every unstoppable person has faced seasons where giving up seemed easier than continuing. The difference is they refuse to quit. They refuse to let temporary pain define permanent outcomes. They refuse to trade long-term gain for short-term ease. You must develop that same mindset. You must cultivate resilience so deep that no failure can permanently sway you. You must train your mind to see obstacles as opportunity, challenges as lessons, setbacks as setups for a greater comeback. You are stronger than your struggles. You are wiser than your doubts. You are more capable than your fears. The question is, will you act like it? Will you live like it? Will you refuse to settle for anything less than what you were created to achieve? And here is the final truth that will carry you through this year. The only limits that exist are the ones you accept. You are not limited by your past. You are not limited by what others think of you. You are not limited by temporary circumstances or fleeting failures. You are only limited by the beliefs you choose to hold about yourself. Break free from them. Challenge them. Destroy the narratives that say you are not enough. Step into the reality that you are capable, that you are relentless, that you are unstoppable. When you do that, no external force can hold you back. Remember, execution is the ultimate equalizer. Talent can be irrelevant. Motivation can vanish. Resources can be scarce. But action never fails. If you consistently show up, if you consistently push, if you consistently execute, you will eventually create results that cannot be denied. It may take longer than you hope. It may require more effort than you imagine. It may demand sacrifices that feel unbearable. But the payoff is inevitable for those who refuse to quit. This is the blueprint of relentless execution. Show up when it's hard, push when it's uncomfortable, persist when it's lonely, act when it's inconvenient, and never stop until the work is done. So as we close this chapter and look toward the coming year, I want you to make a vow to yourself. I will not wait for motivation. I will not wait for approval. I will not wait for perfect conditions. I will act. I will execute. I will dominate. I will take ownership of my life, my decisions, my results, my destiny. I will embrace discomfort. I will endure the struggle. I will celebrate the grind. And I will persist until 2026 is no longer a year of potential, but a year of unmatched achievement. And when you look back a year from now, you will see the difference between the person who showed up and the person who didn't. You will see the power of consistent action. You will see the results of relentless execution. You will see how every decision, every habit, every moment of courage added up to something extraordinary. You will realize that greatness was never given to you. It was earned, it was built, it was claimed with every hard day, every lonely night, every choice to rise when giving up seemed easier. And that is what I want you to remember as you step into 2026. Your blueprint is in your hands. Your execution is your power. Your discipline is your freedom. Your obsession with growth is your fuel. Your refusal to negotiate with weakness is your weapon. The life you desire, the results you dream of, the success you've imagined, none of it depends on anyone else. It depends on you. And when you finally understand that, when you finally embrace the responsibility, when you finally commit to relentless action, nothing can stop you. So Robbie, show up, execute, and become the unstoppable architect of your 2026. This is your year, not because it's easy, not because it's guaranteed, not because it's fair, but because you decided that nothing will prevent you from achieving the greatness you were born to claim. Your work will be your legacy. Your persistence will be your proof. Your results will be undeniable. And when the dust settles, when the distractions fade, when the excuses are exhausted, you will stand as the living embodiment of relentless execution. And I want you to feel this in your bones, the fire inside you, the hunger, the drive, the vision, the potential. It's all waiting for your action. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait for the world to approve. Don't wait for motivation to arrive. Start now. Move now. Execute now. Every hour you delay, every day you wait is another vote for mediocrity. Cast your votes for excellence. Cast your vote for discipline. Cast your votes for the unstoppable version of yourself. You have the ability. You have the power. You have the capacity. You have the potential. But you must act, and not just act occasionally. Not just act when convenient. Not just act when you feel like it. You must act relentlessly, consistently, and with the unwavering commitment of someone who refuses to settle for anything less than the extraordinary. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not different from you. They simply decided that nothing would stop them. They executed when hurt. They executed when they were tired. They executed when nobody was watching. And they executed again and again until the results spoke for themselves. So make this your commitment right now, today, in this very moment. I will execute relentlessly. I will honor my commitment. I will overcome fear. I will endure discomfort. I will prioritize growth over recognition. I will focus on the process over the applause. I will refuse to negotiate with weakness. I will show up when it's hard. Will rise when it's inconvenient. I will persist when it's lonely. I will dominate my destiny with every action I take. And I will not rest until my vision becomes reality. And we do that when you finally embrace the relentless pursuit of execution, when you finally stop waiting for permission, when you finally stop looking for validation, when you finally take full ownership of your life, you will become unstoppable. You will become unstoppable. You will become untouchable. You will become undeniable. 2026 will not just be another year. It will be your year. It will be your year, the year you prove to yourself in the world that nothing can stop your relentless commitment, that your action was greater than your fear, that your persistence was louder than your doubt, that your results were unstoppable because you were unstoppable. So go, execute, dominate, grow, and let 2026 be remembered as the year you stop waiting, the year you stop negotiating, the year you stop compromising, and the year you finally became the architect of your unstoppable life. The blueprint is in your hand, the power is in your choices, and the future is yours to claim. Rise up, step forward, and execute relentlessly. Your time is now. Your destiny is calling. And nothing, no obstacle, no fear, no excuse will stand in the way of the unstoppable version of you that is ready to rise, ready to conquer, and ready to dominate 2026.